What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. Tristan Thompson cheated on Khloe Kardashian with Jordan Smith. Man.
Why didn't she just leave him?
I don't know. I'd cheat on Khloe Kardashian, too.
It's his kid's father.
If you had the opportunity.
I'd cheat on Khloe.
Kid's father.
Why have a kid?
They
I love NBA players anyway.
Okay, this isn't about any gossip or anything like that. This is the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Young. I'm with my friends, Keenan Chafin, James Wilson, and Maxwell Woods. This is the Bounce Back Podcast, Episode 7, Thompson Boling Arena Domination. I'm sorry. Thompson Boling Arena Domination. I'm sure you know what this is about. Let's get right into it. Tennessee puts a hammer on Kentucky, and Virginia Tech rolls out a win against Duke. And then we're going to get into a little bit of the NBA's. Milwaukee Bucks, we need to put some respect on their name. Toronto Raptors, deepest team in the NBA? Maybe. Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone. I think he's really a good considered for Coach of the Year. And the Lakers. Max, I think me and you need to take back what we said about the Lakers making the playoffs.
How about that paycheck?
And then we're going to get into the NFL Draft Combine, the NFL Draft next month. And Bryce Harper just signed a deal with the Phillies. Do we like it? Yes or no? What we think about it? It's up. And then He Got Bounced is the last segment today. And, of course, we'll get into the 2-minute rundown. Guys, let's get right into it. Let's travel to Thompson Boling Arena. Number 7 Tennessee defeating number 4 Kentucky 71-52. Max, you weren't here last time when Kentucky beat Tennessee.
I wasn't.
And me and James had to go in on that. Keenan chimed in a little bit. I want you to give us your take on what you saw on Saturday when Tennessee just put the whooping on Kentucky.
I saw why we was ranked number 1 at one point. I saw, the grittiness, the hustle, the heart. The last game when we got spanked by Kentucky, they shot 51%.
Yeah.
If you shoot 51% on anybody, that's a good chance to win the ball game. And this one, they literally, no exaggeration, Dylan, they shot 31.8% field goal.
They shot awful.
No, they shot terrible.
Shot awful. They had Kentucky had 17 turnovers.
17.
I think they only made 5 or 6 field goals in the first half.
They only made 14 in the entire game. 14 field goals in the entire
17-5 was the
game.
turnovers between Kentucky and Tennessee. And, we got to give a shout out to my boy, Jordan Bone. Jordan Bone.
That's your boy, you know?
Oh, no. But
Shout out Jordan Bone.
shout out Jordan Bone. Disregard James over here. He had 27, 5 for 5 from the 3-point land. Real nice. And people don't know, Admiral had a terrible game. He shot for 3 for 13. Who stepped up? The player of the year, Grant Williams. He had 24 to help out Jordan's 27. But it was a good all-around game. Fulke was doing stuff that was nice. Kyle was being a big man down there. It was a good game. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I respect it. Tennessee, they did what they needed to do. They got revenge, after getting beat by Kentucky at Rupp. Kentucky fans should have known this was coming. Mm-hmm. You go into Thompson Boling Arena, Tennessee's ready for you, ready as can be, come back for revenge, play like the number 1 team again, and just completely – their defense was incredible. Was incredible.
We needed that one.
Yeah, for sure. They forced 17 turnovers, and James said Kentucky only made 14 field goals the whole game. You can't win like that.
As a Kentucky fan, what does this do in terms of what happened with the first game? Like, what is that? How does this justify or unjustify or verify the first game?
Well, I think, it just tells the difference between home and away.
100%.
How much, an away game can actually hurt you when you go on the road, especially, Tennessee, top 5 team at one point, number 1 team at one point. I'm going to put respect on that name. Number 1 team at one point, and you're going to their home. Right. You're going to Thompson Boling Arena. It's hard to play there. They've won 25 games straight. 25 straight games there in Thompson Boling Arena. And it's just like going up to Rupp. Any team that goes to Rupp. If you go to Cameron Indoor for Duke, it's just like that. Going to Chapel Hill for North Carolina. Yep. Being on the road, Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas. Being on the road in top environments like that, especially the fan base Tennessee has built this year, it's tough to play in. It really is. Kentucky, they just weren't ready. And, of course, they didn't have Reed Travis, P.J. Washington, and some early foul trouble that first half. But I don't think they get an excuse. I don't think they get an excuse.
It was a very unusual performance by Kentucky. I told you before the show, they haven't scored that, that many points or
that
least amount of points since March 13th, 2013.
Yeah, that's stout.
That's 6 years since they've had that bad of a shooting performance. Keaton, what do you think about it, man?
I can't really say anything else. You guys already said. Turnovers, I think, killed them more than anything. I think you can overcome the field goal percentage with the free throws, which they did, but with the turnovers on top of that, you can't really overcome that.
Yeah. James, you got anything else to chime in?
And to add on that, to give a little bit of credit to Kentucky, they played the defense that they were supposed to play.
Yeah.
The offense wasn't there. And to look at it from an offensive standpoint for Tennessee, they did the same thing. They scored 71 points and won. Last time they lost, they scored 69 points.
Yeah.
So they're consistent, especially on the offensive end. Only thing that changed was their defense, and their defense really woke up this game.
Yeah.
That shows you that defense wins championships.
Tennessee they were consistent, and you know who else has been consistent? That's Jordan Bone. You mentioned him earlier, and Jordan Bone, I mean, he makes a case for the best point guard in the SEC.
Oh, man, he's nice.
I mean, he's bringing it not in, not out, and it's just he makes a difference for that team. I think he's kind of overlooked because he plays with Schofield and he plays with Williams, and those two are looked at as, National Players of the Year.
PB&J.
But I think, exactly. But I think Jordan Bone could slide into the NBA draft.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Jordan Bone's a real player. He really is. And, Cam Jordan, not Cam Jordan, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about New Orleans Saints.
That was a tough loss.
Jordan Bowden.
Yeah.
I mean, he has stepped up, played well that game too. Something he did not do when they went to Kentucky. He absolutely played terrible when they went to Kentucky, and comes back Thompson Boling Arena at Tennessee. He plays really good.
Yeah.
Plays really good. So Kentucky gets a whooping. Another team didn't take too much of a whooping, but still got beat by 5, and they should not have lost. And that's Duke losing to Virginia Tech, 77-72. Keenan, I know you didn't watch the game, but you have anything to say?
Well, obviously, it hurts not having Zion.
Yeah.
Especially when your bench is, not doing as well as it should.
Correct.
That's where Zion can really help your team cover a lot of, Peyton Manning used to do for the Colts. He used to cover up a lot of flaws. That's what Zion is doing for Duke. Other than that, Cam played really well. I mean, RJ had a terrible first half, absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Like I said, his shot selection's awful. He picked it up in the second half, but, it's kind of too late if you play just one half.
Yeah, I think you talk about RJ. Cam and RJ, they combined for 38 points. Usually that'd be good enough to get you a win. And
when Zion's giving you 20 as well, that'll easily give you a win.
True. I mean, you look at it, let's see. Trey Jones had 9 points. O'Connell had 6 points. And from there, it's not really anything.
Right.
Well, you got Marquise Bolden coming off the bench with 14 points, so that gives you a little bit. I mean, you got three players in double figures, and you're leading almost everything statistically. It's almost like, how did you lose that game?
Yeah.
How did you lose that game? What does this say about Duke, and where are they going now,
Well, I actually have a lot to say about this game because, one, they should have won this game. They had Zion. That's an easy one. I think everyone here can agree with that. Everyone who watched it, everyone who has seen Duke play this year. And to go back on what Keenan said last week, I think he was right to say that it was early overreaction, but now it's a reality.
Yeah.
You need Zion. And if you're a Duke fan, you want him to come back. But
they still have only lost one game. I mean, it's only 2 games since he's been out. That's not really that big of a sample.
I mean,
I'm just saying. On the road to Virginia Tech, who's ranked.
Virginia Tech's a tough team too, but
Virginia Tech is a tough team.
Usually Duke wins that game.
Usually. I mean, sure, but
especially if they had their full strength, they'd win that game.
I get what you're saying.
And I'm not gonna make this excuse for Duke. Duke's bench is probably one of the weakest benches out of everyone who's ranked in the NCAA. And I've been saying that all year.
Yeah.
So when someone who's as stout as he is with scoring, with rebounding, with defensive stops, with just a presence, someone to take your best defender off of RJ, or take your best defender off of Cam, that changes the game. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. Max, you gonna chime in on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both James and Keenan. I feel like it is a big deal now since that loss because you shouldn't have got beat. And your 2 players that you need to, be explosive and score or scoring, even though RJ had a bad first half, you need Zion. But I give it 5 games.
Interruption.
I'll give it 5 games. And then if Zion, when's he supposed to come back?
There's no due
day to
date.
day.
Yeah.
Day to day, yeah.
Okay.
I think right now it's really leaning on whether he wants to come back.
Yeah.
I don't think this is an injury that can keep him out for the rest of the year.
He'll come back.
But if he wants to come back, I don't think. This is where it gets tough for me as I've been supporting Duke all year.
Yeah.
He comes back, they're in the Final Four.
Yeah.
He doesn't come back, they're probably bouncing this first, second round.
They probably won't even win the ACC championship.
No.
Probably not.
No.
But as a player, as a person, I want what's best for him, and what's best for him is to make a business decision.
Yeah.
And to make that business decision is very, very tough. And whatever he chooses will be the right decision, and he needs to make that decision. But for fans and for players and for announcers and commentators to put the pressure on this kid, this 18-year-old kid, to go back to play basketball because he made a commitment and it's not getting a cent or a dime every game is wrong, and you cannot do that. And I think that is more offensive to me than like in the NBA you can get fined for calling out a ref or something like that. And in that way, I don't want to like discredit the whole broadcasting system, and you know what I mean. But it's an 18-year-old kid. Let him make his decision.
For sure.
Not his dad, not his coach, not the team's doctor. No one else can make that decision for him.
Yeah, and we'll see what Zion's decision is for the rest of the season. Time will tell as he gets ready for the NBA draft. And as we talk about the NBA draft, let's get into the NBA. Some teams we haven't put enough respect on their name, and that's one for sure. Is the Milwaukee Bucks sitting at 48-15, and I mean statistically they're the best team in the NBA. The top 5 in defense, top 5 in offense, 48-15 record, first in the East, and it just looks like they can make some noise in the playoffs. Keenan, start us out. What's your thoughts on the Bucks?
The Bucks remind me of the 2011 Mavericks that won that championship.
Really?
Built around one star, a lot of good role players. I
see it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So as long as Giannis performs in the playoffs, I think they get to the finals.
I think the Mavericks had a few better shooters, but I see it. I definitely see the comparison.
Yeah. I mean, Giannis is doing the best thing right now. I think he's a top 3 player in the league right now, behind LeBron and Kevin Durant, of course.
Probably MVP.
Yeah,
Probably behind Paul George.
Probably.
Above
Paul George and James Harden. That's the MVP candidates.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you put him top 3 player in the NBA right now. Giannis is doing some incredible things this season. He's averaging a double-double, and then of course you got Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe that a lot of people forget about sometimes that are just casual NBA fans. They don't realize how good Eric Bledsoe actually is on the offensive end, and he'll give you a defensive game when he needs to.
I do want to add this. Eric Bledsoe is a really good point guard, but I don't like the extension that they put on him for his contract, because that takes away any big not that anyone wants to go to Milwaukee in free agency.
Yeah.
But if Kyrie wanted to sign a 2-year player option deal and test out Milwaukee next year, now he can't.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did it for safety measures. You know that you have a point guard for the future now. It may not be a top 10 point guard, but you have a solid point guard that understands the ball runs through Giannis.
Right. And understands the offense and the chemistry.
Yeah. I think Eric Bledsoe is a great fit. And Chris Middleton, I think he's a little overlooked sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
He's a bucket.
The Eric Bledsoe deal is more about Middleton, where they don't lose both of them, but now they can turn their attention to Middleton and give him the best deal he can get.
For sure.
Having both of them out in free agency and losing them.
Okay.
For sure.
I see that.
Another team in the East, let's stay in the East, of 46-18 are the Toronto Raptors. Had they got this record, I'm going to go with their bench.
I was going to say, they're the deepest team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Only other team that has as much depth, or could have as much depth as the Raptors, is the Celtics. And if they rotated differently, I would say that the Celtics are the deepest team.
And of course, Celtics are having some chemistry problems down the stretch
for
right
sure.
now.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah. I'm going to go through here and name Raptors players. If I miss anyone, just chime in and tell me who. But Marc Gasol, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Fred Van Fleet, Serge Ibaka. Jeremy Lin.
Jody Meeks can shoot. Patrick McCall was on a championship team.
Yeah, Patrick McCall. That's what do we name? Like 12 players right there?
At least
12 players.
9 could at least play on any team in the East. Maybe start on any team in the East.
And we're seeing some things in the media. Me and James saw recently where some of these experts don't even have Toronto as a title contender in the East.
Yeah,
not even in the top 3. I mean, they have Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and Philadelphia Sixers. And where's Toronto?
Right, and I feel like I'm gonna call him out. Colin Hurd didn't give Toronto the credit.
Coward.
Colin Coward.
Yeah.
On the Herd.
Yeah.
Didn't give Toronto the credit that they deserve. I mean, yeah, he stated they don't win when it comes to championship time, and if you look at it, I guess you can say he's right, but let's see why. It's because LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every team in the East for the last 8 years couldn't win because of LeBron.
Yeah.
Guess what? He's not there anymore. Who's the next best team?
He won't be in the playoffs.
Who's the team that gave him the most trouble outside of his kryptonite, Lance Stevenson, the Raptors?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we should give him more credit than that.
Yeah, and you bring up LeBron. We're going to get to that, but first we want to get to the Denver Nuggets. They're standing second in the West right now, 42-20. Got a young squad, and man, Mike Malone's really put something together. Do you think they can make some noise in the playoffs? Keenan, I'm gonna start with you.
Yes. To me, they're the deepest team in the league.
You really?
Yeah.
Deeper than the Raptors, what we just talked about.
Yes.
They're young too.
Yes.
They're young and having fun.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah. James, what about you?
I think. I think the Nuggets are building for the future. I think they're the next team after this Warriors wave kind of comes to an end. I think they're the next team that steps up and wins a couple championships.
I feel like that's a weird way to word it, though. Building for the future, considering they're
building for the future in terms of everyone on that roster.
Just keep improving.
Keep improving. Is young.
Yeah.
They're not at the prime of their career, and they're doing this.
Yeah.
It reminds me of. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
It reminds me of the Oklahoma City Thunder when they had, 3 superstars on their team. Prematurely, they got to the finals and lost, and then traded everyone away, or traded one of them away.
Did you see the Nuggets going deep to the Western Conference Finals?
Yes.
I do, and I'm gonna explain why I think so, and that's because of home court advantage. Denver is probably the toughest place to play in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Altitude.
Because of the altitude. That's correct.
In any athletic event, you ask any baseball, basketball, football, it's the toughest place to play.
Denver is, because you go up there and everything's just different.
Right.
Your shooting is different. The way you breathe on the court is different. It affects you physically, and it's different. And they're used to that. That's what they train in. That's what they practice in.
And when they come down the hill, they have more energy because they've been practicing in altitude.
Exactly. So I think they get home court advantage through that playoffs. They could probably, they have a chance, just like every other team in the West, though, that makes the playoffs to get to the Western Conference Finals. But I think they have a better chance, than the other 6 teams behind them.
They'd be playing like a Spurs or a Jazz.
I think they're I think they're better than the Spurs, the Jazz, the Clippers.
100%.
I think they can beat the Rockets.
I think they could beat the Rockets. I think they could beat the Rockets.
I think they're the biggest threat to the Warriors this season.
I'm pretty sure they beat the Warriors every time they've played them. I'm pretty sure 2-0 against the Warriors this season.
Yeah, they are.
Fact check that.
Can we get a fact
I'm pretty sure they are.
That's not true.
It's not true?
No, they lost at home.
They lost at home. So they're what, 1-1 or 2-1?
1-1.
Okay. So yeah, even with the Warriors on the season, so someone who's not been very even lately, that's LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, sending at 30 and 33. But we know that. We want to talk about what they've done after All-Star break. They're 2-4, have taken 4 L's, and only one of them have been to a playoff team. Took a Suns loss, 118-109. Lost to the Bucks. Lost to the Pelicans, 128-115. Lost to the Grizzlies, 110-105. Some tight games, but you're still losing to under 500 teams.
Yep.
What's wrong with the Lakers? What's wrong with LeBron? Does he even care anymore?
Defense is what's wrong with him.
LeBron's not playing defense.
He's not. Lonzo Ball being out hurts too.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
I'm with you.
Lonzo doesn't change the game for me. For me, what changed in the game is Luke Walton. You look at him as a coach. He hasn't been improving any players. You look at Lonzo Ball, and you look at Brandon Ingram.
He's been turning it on the last few games, though.
But the entire season, they've looked like they were in neutral. And even if they have turned on the last few games, it's resulted in them losing tremendously.
Which is more on defense.
Well, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But you look at what I want to say is you look at Julius Randle, you look at D'Angelo Russell. When they leave, they become better players leaving the Lakers under a different coach.
Yeah.
On top of that is their defense. That's what I was going to get to next. Their defense has been atrocious, and LeBron is to blame. You're the leader of that team. You need to step up and show them how to play good defense, not stand in the key or look around on defense. You've seen those videos. Everyone's seen those videos of them just standing there.
Not only is he the leader of the team, but he's also the one to blame because he's the one that said he's going to turn it around.
Right.
He said playoff mode activated. I'm not. I don't like these losses. I'm going to start winning for this team.
Right.
You ain't done it, Chief.
And I don't want to blame his TV show, but he has a lot of distractions in his life.
He does. Yeah. Hollywood is a distraction to him. Before we move on to anything else, talk about Lonzo Ball making the Lakers better. Max, that's something you're really strong on. Explain.
When Lonzo's on the court, now when he scores 10, 8, and gets about 6 or 7 rebounds, people just think that's, not good. But Lonzo's a big part of when they do play good defense, when that ball is moving around.
His IQ.
His IQ is, literally, when he's getting drafted, they compared his IQ to LeBron.
Compared to Jason Kidd, too, which is also very good at comparison.
He's a good basketball player, and he's going to help you on that court. And I think without Lonzo, they're just lost.
Without Lonzo, who do you have on the perimeter?
Who do you have?
You don't have anybody on the perimeter.
Well, you have Rondo.
No.
I mean, what do you mean by perimeter?
Defensively.
Rondo plays great defense.
Not
when he wants to.
Exactly. But Lonzo,
so does LeBron.
Lonzo, yeah, exactly.
And so does Brandon Ingram.
A little bit.
So what I mean?
That's what he plays. That's what Lonzo plays defense because his offense is lacking.
I guess
All the time.
He has to play.
He has to play defense. Okay. That's where he picks it up. That's why he's game changing on the defensive end because he always brings it, the effort, the energy.
Well, the thing is, if everyone can do it, why don't they just do it all the time? That's the argument. Why doesn't everyone just play good defense all the time?
I don't know. Ask LeBron and Rondo. Why they don't play
I will. I'm gonna
defense.
text him.
Honestly though, Lonzo Ball, what's really wrong with him though? I mean, he tweaked his ankle. He's been out 6 weeks now, and taking another week to evaluate. You think there's something going on? Because remember, he was on the trade block when that Anthony Davis talks. Anthony Davis to the Lakers. He was up for trades. They were talking about trading him other places. LeVar Ball, his dad, came out and spoke, said some words, and didn't like the staff in Los Angeles, didn't like some of the players. Do you think something else is behind that injury?
No, I think he's hurt.
I can see them protecting Lonzo.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean, Lonzo and his family have brought some issues to the basketball court before, so I don't know. Something's going on. I don't think it's just an injury.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at from Lonzo's point of view. If he's sitting out on purpose, not saying that he is.
I think he wants to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, if someone wants him to sit out, that drops his trade value. He's not as likely to get traded to anywhere.
Yeah, it does. Well, let's move on from the NBA. Let's get into some MLB and NFL. The NFL draft combine going on right now. MLB, not too much going on, but spring training, spring games, and everything. Bryce Harper, though, biggest news, probably of sports. This week.
Mm-hmm.
We've been waiting to see what his decision would be. Mm-hmm. Finally signs a deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. 13 years, $330 million. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah, that's probably his best fit.
Yeah, I like it.
I love
it.
They just add another outfielder out there with Andrew McCutchen now, and Harper. I mean, you just add another threat at bat too.
Yeah, good luck trying to hit the holes with McCutchen and Bryce Harper back there.
Honestly,
they're two of the best outfielders I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and Phillies,
aside from Mike Trout.
Phillies have been down a little bit, but they make this move and they make some more moves in the offseason, in the MLB offseason, and I think they're contending now. They're contending. They're definitely making it tougher, for the Atlanta Braves, who looked like they were running away.
Right.
And they want to put some respect on their name. They want to get to the World Series, and that's exactly what these signings are doing for them. They went out there and got Andrew McCutchen. They went out there and got Bryce Harper, some few more names. Kenyon, you've watched more MLB than any of us. Is there anything you can chime in on?
They need more pitching.
That's important. That's the biggest.
If they're gonna catch the Braves and pass them up, make the postseason, they need more pitching.
Yeah, that's
a lot
important.
of those guys are young, unproven. They did good last year, but one good season, in the baseball doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Of course. So yeah, Bryce Harper to the Philadelphia Phillies. That's the biggest thing going on in the MLB right now. NFL draft going on next month. NFL draft combine. Has anyone actually watched it? And if you have not, though, has anything stuck out to you?
I have seen a lot of crying.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by crying?
Like, right after they do well, man, they get on the phone with the fans.
Okay, well, it's an emotion. It's an emotional.
It's emotional,
moment.
Yeah, but I mean.
I thought you meant like crying as in they did bad.
No. I mean, they're crying. I mean, but like, I don't know why the NFL cameras are like, let's just focus on him because he's crying.
It's an NFL. It's a big man, big strong man crying in tears on his knees on the phone. You know what I mean? It's a very intimate, emotional moment for someone who shouldn't.
Is that what football really needs, though?
No, but I'm saying the reason I don't
Everybody
agree with it.
calling football soft, man. You over here filming your guys crying.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying like that.
Jeff, we're gonna have a live
it's showing
what he's actually saying to this moment.
Oh, man.
Where are the subtitles at?
Of course, the NFL draft combine, it shows a lot athletically, but I don't think it actually proves what kind of NFL player you can be.
I think it does. I think it shows your potential. No, but look, and when you look at it in terms of natural athleticism, it shows your athleticism, right? Mm-hmm. And you look at the NFL a natural athletic sport. It's not a highly skilled sport. Yes, you have skilled positions. You need to have skill at the quarterback. That's probably the most skilled position on the field. Everything else, if you're very, very, very athletic, you can get away with not having skill. So when someone like DK Metcalf puts up numbers like Julio Jones,
beast,
or like Odell Beckham, you look at that like, okay, he has the potential to be either very, very athletic or very, very, very good.
Yeah, of course.
If he puts his skill together.
You show off your potential in the NFL draft combine, you can, but I don't even think it makes a difference until you're out there in a real game situation.
The only difference it makes in the combine is if you had a bad year.
Yeah. And I think real game situations are more showing than the NFL draft combine. If I'm an NFL team, I'm looking at film more than I'm looking at combine.
But with however many Division II football teams there are, you can't watch every single game. Even if you had a bad game this game, or if you had a really good game this game, you can't always rely on film. Mm-hmm. And when you're playing the Madden, what is it? The
Ultimate Team.
Yeah, the Ultimate Team or the franchise mode.
Yeah.
You're looking at those draft combine stats, and you're like, oh, he ran a 4.22.
Well, that's because that's what Madden gives you.
That's what I'm saying though. But you don't draft the guy who's a 4.33, even though you know his name in real life is going to be better than, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But they have people and they have time to watch a lot a lot of film. All I'm saying is I'm watching more film than I'm worried about draft combine. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I think you wouldn't be wrong. Fastest 40 and he sucks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Honestly.
But guess what? He got drafted.
He got drafted
very high.
Yeah, but
higher than he should have went.
I mean,
that's what I mean. That's what the draft does for people. Yeah. It boosts you up when you have a bad year.
He had a good season at Washington. And that's just the icing on top. To draft him high, you can be like, look at his stats.
Right.
Yeah, draft combine definitely boosts you up if you didn't show it well in college football games. What else is boost up is he got bounce. These players right here are boost up. Gonna count down 3, 2, 1 from the least. Well, how am I supposed to say it? 3, 2, 1 from not the most impressive to the most impressive. I lost my track of thought right there. 3, 2, 1. So let's jump right into it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I gotta say that right. Comes down the court, off the defender, all over Rudy Gobert. I mean, that's a shot blocker right there, man. That's a shot
he came
blocker.
too late. He stepped over a little.
Body on body right there, man.
He didn't want to jump.
Honestly though,
he just got there too late.
Giannis didn't really even jump.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
7 foot.
That's crazy.
With the crazier wingspan.
That was number 3. Coming in number 2, Derek Favors.
Same game.
All over Ilyasova. Oh, man.
That was a good pass, too.
Oh, man. Hey, they had some beef during the game, too. I watched a little bit of that game. They had some beef during the game, and they didn't really like each other.
No, I mean,
you see Derek Favors.
They were chipping at each other a little bit.
Yeah, Derek Favors got him, man. I mean, that's a grown man slam right there.
That's how I felt
hey.
about the milkshakes.
Yeah. shout out Keenan Chapin for bringing some milkshakes to the crew. Coming in at number 1, it's your boy Devin Booker. Down the lane. Everybody got love for Devin Booker, especially after this, man. Too. Anthony Davis. Watch out, AD.
Devin Booker.
Look at him. He looked lost. Like, that just happened.
Booker. I mean, Booker comes on. Did that with swagger.
I'm not on minute restrictions anymore.
Minute restriction, coach. What are we at?
Yo, that's the highest I've ever seen Booker get. Honestly,
easily.
I mean, he was up there.
Yeah, that's like a chest to chest.
I've been watching him since he was at high school. That's the highest I've ever seen him get, man. Congratulations, Devin Booker, getting number 1 on the Bounce Back podcast.
Because that matters.
Like it might
watch it, yeah.
Might matter one day. Shout out Devin Booker on that.
Come on.
Let's get into the 2-minute rundown now. Let's see if we can make it this time. Max is still here, so the chances are up in the air. Question number 1 of the 2-minute rundown. What do you think of the Brooklyn Nets being sued for their City Edition jerseys, which have Coogee print on them? Coogee is suing the Brooklyn Nets.
That's stupid. I don't know why you wouldn't know it's on the jersey to begin with, but
yeah.
I think Miami should get sued too for stealing LeBron's son's jerseys.
Well, was that really his idea though? Oh, anyway, I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Question number 2. How far will Duke actually go without Zion Williamson?
Oh, you didn't put without Zion on here.
Sweet 16.
You said without Zion?
Without Zion Williamson. If they didn't have Zion Williamson.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16? Sweet 16? I say Elite 8. I'm going to say Elite 8.
I say Final 4.
Final 4 without Zion?
Actually,
without Zion.
I say...
Don't change it now.
Don't change it. Question 3. Who is your first overall NFL draft pick?
First?
Yeah, go first.
Bosa.
Yeah.
Metcalf.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, like, look at it. They need a wide receiver.
Who?
Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
I guess. I don't know. I'm going Nick Bosa.
Do they not? They have a young quarterback. Get a young wide receiver. Let them grow up
I'm
together.
going to tell you who the Cardinals are about to draft. They're going to draft Kyler Murray first.
Oh, I kind of hope he
I
goes first.
hope they do
Okay.
not. I will
Cliff
literally.
loves him.
Number 4. How do you feel after Dwayne Wade hit that game winner
Okay, game waiter.
against the Golden State Warriors? I mean, that's an awesome ending.
Yeah, screw the Warriors.
Wow.
That's how you felt.
Yeah, that's how you feel?
Tell them how you feel.
That's how you feel?
Screw the Warriors.
Okay.
Are you okay? You got some PTSD?
It's good for, I like it for Wade, man. Last season, that's awesome.
Don't
man.
retire. Come on.
I'm gonna miss you.
Stay in
I'm
the
gonna miss
league.
you.
You still got juice. Come on, stay in the league.
To me, man, D-Wade could play another 3 years. It's sad.
Yeah. Number 5, does Russell Westbrook actually ignore the critics?
No.
I don't know. I have no way of really knowing.
I don't think he does. I mean, he says he does, but he doesn't.
I think he does.
You think he does?
Yeah.
Okay, taking it aside. Who made the biggest move in the MLB offseason? We talked a little bit about this already. I'm saying Philadelphia Phillies.
Philly.
Phillies.
I think Philly has done a lot for their city, all 3 sports, football.
And Meek Mill.
For sure.
Mill's back on the map.
That's it for the 2-minute rundown. We appreciate you all tuning in to the Bounce Back Podcast. Rejoin us next time and make sure you hit that subscribe button down there if you like this show. Appreciate. Much love to all the fans. And we out.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?